Sister Moms, Breaking Free from the Responsibility Complex, created by Jody M. Givhan, M.Ed, CEO, One Winged Media. Copyright 2025. All rights reserved. When childhood or adolescent siblings are forced to take on a parental role, a dynamic known as parentification, the older sibling, which is often the daughter, experiences a range of negative mental and emotional outcomes that often persist into adulthood. This happens in many customs, and also in the USA. Parentified children are responsible for tasks such as caring for siblings, managing household tasks, paying bills, cooking, cleaning, taking her siblings to school, attending school meetings and functions, grocery shopping, laundry, opening mail, making arrangements for household utilities, and the list goes on and on. In essence, the eldest child becomes the primary child caregiver and is thrust into common tasks which are typically facilitated by the adult primary caregiver. This is so unfair. The eldest daughter or son is responsible for providing emotional support to a parent who has checked out emotionally from the responsibilities which come with being an active and emotionally available and responsive parent. While this forced maturity can sometimes create strengths, it often leaves lasting scars that carry into adulthood. One of the most significant long-term effects is the emotional burden that never fully lifts. Parentified children grow into adults who often feel responsible for everyone around them, struggling with anxiety and guilt whenever they focus on their own needs. This can lead to a life marked by chronic stress and difficulty setting healthy boundaries. Parentified children also tend to experience identity struggles. Because their childhood was consumed with caregiving, they may not know who they are outside of their own responsibilities. In adulthood, this often manifests in codependent relationships, where they continue to take on the role of the fixer or the caretaker, sometimes at the expense of their own well-being. Sometimes, the younger siblings grow entirely dependent on the eldest, and when the eldest sibling abruptly leaves the family unit, there is often so much confusion, pain, and feelings of abandonment and resentment may occur. The eldest sibling may now be overwhelmed, resentful, and completely exhausted with being forced to be the parent, who has clearly abandoned the family, leaving the eldest daughter to do everything. And people wonder why the eldest sibling chooses not to be bothered. Here are some ways in which sister moms, parentified children are impacted by these early life experiences. 1. Emotional burden and anxiety. Parentified children often grow up with heightened anxiety, chronic stress, and difficulty relaxing. They may feel responsible for others' well-being well into adulthood. 2. Struggles with identity and boundaries. Because they were never allowed to fully be children, they can enter adulthood unsure of their own needs, desires, and sense of self. Who am I? And what are my needs as a person? Boundaries, knowing where they end and another person begins, are often blurred. Since the only early experience they have is being responsible for everyone, it is difficult for them to know how to help their adult siblings without being totally absorbed in the lives of their siblings. Sometimes, they just stop talking to them altogether, which is totally understandable, honestly. 3. Relationship challenges. They may replicate caretaking roles in friendships, romantic partnerships, or work, becoming the fixer or become overly responsible for helping everyone in their lives to express themselves or get their lives in order. Thus, recreating the parentification role in adulthood. Unfortunately, although the eldest daughter may not verbally express her feelings, she may finally reach the point of burnout. It is actually a state which develops gradually rather than in one sudden flare-up. Either way, it results from self-neglect and slowly erodes your ability to continue in your efforts to be caring and compassionate because you are mentally drained. All of these factors often result from codependency from everything: caring for the parent, siblings, taking on difficult roles, and the parentified obligation to continue to meet the needs of everyone, all while trying to carve out a life which is distinct from the dysfunctional family unit. It is okay for the older child to become frustrated, overwhelmed, overworked, and decide to leave the family unit. Stop making them feel guilty. The opportunity then falls on the shoulders of each sibling, in that case, to begin to take responsibility for their own lives. Stop depending on the eldest sibling to do everything for you. It is now time for you to be an adult and take accountability for yourself. 4. Low self-worth and guilt. A deep belief that their value comes from what they do for others, not who they are as a person, can lead to guilt when prioritizing themselves. How dare you prioritize yourself? What about your family? You just left us without saying a word. 5. Resilience and strength. On the positive side, many parentified children, sister moms develop maturity, empathy, problem-solving skills, and independence early on. These strengths can serve them well, but if not balanced properly, may often be at the cost of their own emotional health. 6. Risk of depression and burnout. Over time, carrying adult-level burdens too early can lead to chronic exhaustion, depression, and difficulty sustaining emotional energy. Here's the thing, parentified children, sister moms will often become highly capable adults. However, they may also struggle with inner emptiness, isolation, blurred boundaries, and a lifelong pull to continue to put the needs of others above their own. Here's a tip: when feeling overwhelmed, stop. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Now, go for a walk, or a swim, or a hike, or a run. Sit on a park bench and listen to your favorite music. Pray or meditate about it. Everything within you needs a way out of you. Focus on what you want to manifest for yourself. Whenever possible, get outside of your house and get some fresh air. Being alone in nature does wonders for your soul. When you are outdoors, think about how you are feeling and how you can realistically resolve the situation. For example, are you feeling tired? Have you been consuming too much refined sugar? Did you eat something healthy? Are you getting enough rest? Are you worrying about something else that is triggering you? Many people simply do not understand the correlation between nutrition and total well-being. Once you ask yourself these questions, now you can decide if having a chat with your sibling, or just going on about your daily routine, will be the best thing to do. The most important thing to remember is, sufficient for today is its own trials. Keep in mind that healing usually involves learning self-care, setting boundaries, and reclaiming the child self that was not given the natural freedom to fully exist outside of being a sister mom. The impact on self-worth is another lasting consequence. These individuals may believe their value comes only from what they do for others, not from who they are. As a result, they can carry a deep sense of inadequacy or guilt when attempting to prioritize themselves. The experience of being forced to take care of everybody's needs also creates adults who are complicated, as they are typically both extremely capable and deeply wounded emotionally. But few of them have a voice in their families. Their adult siblings are usually angry about their need to exist independently of the dysfunctional family cycles. Here is the truth about healing: it often requires learning to set boundaries, rediscovering the inner child that never got to fully exist, and shifting from a life of over-responsibility to a new life which includes honoring the daily practice of self-care and personal joy. Tomorrow is today. It is absolutely important to acknowledge the strengths that can emerge from such an upbringing, but don't let your past dampen your future. Parentified children frequently develop remarkable resilience, empathy, problem-solving skills, and independence at a young age. They are uber-responsible. These qualities often serve them well in adulthood, especially in leadership or helping professions. And it doesn't just disappear with age, either. The long-term toll can show up as burnout, depression, or emotional exhaustion. However, please note that the very strengths they carry are often rooted in unresolved emotional pain. Living a lifetime as the one who always carries the load eventually wears down even the strongest individuals, leaving them vulnerable to mental health struggles if the underlying wounds are not addressed and respected by their siblings and their parents. My heart goes out to my older sister, who was our parent. Our biological mother literally checked out mentally. The lady totally just walked out of the building, folks. As a result, my older sister was forced into the parental role, and she never had her own voice as a child. She walked us to school, took beatings for us, washed clothes, made arrangements to pay the rent and utilities, and hid money from our dad who struggled with substance addiction, and our mom who would buy clothes, perfume, and alcohol and not pay the bills. My sister even had to be the parent to our mother who could not or would not take care of us. Hence, the title of this educational video, Sister Moms. As a result, she often struggles with moving on with her own life, and walking away from the old one. However, she shouldn't need to be still dealing with such things. It wasn't her responsibility to become the parent of her mother and her siblings. But that was her reality, not her choice. Dear sister, it is okay for you to be happy. We appreciate your love, your commitment, and your sacrifice. You don't owe any of us anything. Now, go on and enjoy your life with your family. May God continue to guide, direct, and keep you and your family happy, healthy, and safe. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep working on yourself. For more information about my products and services, contact Jody Given, M.Ed, CEO of One Wind Media, onewind@gmx.com.